So from what I understand, supposedly, as far as California is concerned, Palm Springs is actually cheaper.
Oh yeah, it depends.
Relatively speaking.
Yeah, it's gone up in value quite a lot since I moved there. Actually, it's because of me.
Yeah.
No, by coincidence, about the same time.
In the history books of Palm Springs, things were starting to go down.
Thank you.
And then Rory Snyder moved in.
Oh.
Hi everyone, this is Ray, or some of you might know me as Tiki with Ray, and today I am at the Alibi in Portland, Oregon. And today I'm with Rory Snyder.
Rory Snyder.
All the way from Palm Springs.
How are you, sir?
Nice to meet you in person, finally.
Yeah.
So Rory is actually, you are the owner of the Caliente Tropics?
I own the Reef bar at the Caliente Tropics.
He owns the Reef at the Caliente Tropics. Can you talk about the Reef?
Yeah, Reef is a tiki bar that... there was a Reef at the Caliente Tropics for a period of time.
Yeah.
The signage is all still there from the original business. I didn't put that up. No one I know can actually piece together what years it existed.
Yeah.
So we kept the name. We opened up about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I'm partners with the owner of the hotel, and we wanted to give a tiki vibe or a tiki bar, but at the same point, we don't call it tiki. We call it Tropical Libation Sanctuary. To safeguard myself from the abuse.
That works for me. And I'll tell you what, I was very, very excited when the Reef opened up. The very first time I went to Palm Springs was 2012.
Yeah.
And at that point, there wasn't any tiki bars at all.
That's since 2008.
There was the Tropical.
Yep, Tropical.
And I remember going to the Caliente Tropics.
Yeah.
And there was that room where the Reef is now, but I don't even think it was it. I think it was just like a bar.
It since when I did my first Caliente event, which was 2008, there was Hawaiian Bills back there.
Yeah.
And right after the event was done, it was vacant pretty much from 2009 all the way to 2017 or 16. Yeah. So that was just unutilized. It used to be in the front. It used to be a Mexican restaurant. When I'm forgetting the name of it, La Casita.
Yeah. In
the back was Hawaiian Bills when I first got into the scene. So yeah, it's. Everyone wanted that spot, and I was lucky enough that it fell in my lap.
So how did that come to be?
You know, there was a period of time where we actually, I think most people forgot by history's sake, we left the Caliente Tropics to do Tiki Caliente. We were doing it next door at the Travelodge.
Really?
The old owner of the hotel was impossible to deal with.
Oh my God.
So we left and we went to the Travelodge, and we were doing the event there for 3 years. And at first,
what years are we talking about, Rob?
We're talking. I know it was Caliente 3, 4, and 5. And we're at Caliente 10 now. So we left there and went to the Travelodge, which then turned to turned to the Curve.
Yeah.
And then the V. But when we went over there, at first we wondered, are people going to come to a non-tiki hotel?
Yeah.
And they did. Much like being here in Portland. I mean, the hotel is not tiki.
No, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it tiki.
It's gonna be tiki soon. So we ended up moving over there, and the event did really well and kept growing. And then the interesting part was the hotel got sold out. I was doing my event to somebody else, and I lost my contract.
Oh my God.
It wasn't public yet, and there was somebody in the tiki scene that lined up an event to kind of take over mine at the Tropics. And I'm like, why would they be doing it at the Tropics trying to compete with me? And how did they get a contract with this guy who's impossible?
Yeah.
And the next day, my girlfriend Cara and I went to go see Otto from Tiki Oasis's birthday.
Yeah.
He was in Palm Springs at the Ace. And there was a burlesque dancer, Cardinal Sin.
Yes.
And she saw us at the Ace, and she goes, you got to talk to my boyfriend. He's doing the solar panels at the Tropics with the new owner.
Okay.
And I was like, do you have his information?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, we're going to Bali tomorrow. We'll get it to you.
Okay.
So we were thrifting, and she sent us the information. I used Kari to write this beautiful email like my secretary.
Yes.
Met the owner of the hotel. I got my event moved. They shifted that other event out entirely. Sorry about that.
Uh-oh.
And we ended up getting in the door, and he loved the event. He loved the tiki people, which were always kind, clean, took care of themselves, better clientele than he had before. And a couple of years later, he's like, dude, do you want the spot? It's opening up.
Yeah.
I'll offer it to you. And at first I said no. My dog was getting older and sick. And then when my dog passed, him and I kept in contact, and he's like, the people who are in there now, we're going to move them out. We're getting rid of them. Do you want the spot? You got 30 days.
No way.
And I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. So my girlfriend and I and a couple other people went in there. Jeremy Fleener from the Tonga Hut decked the place out in 20 days. We had 30, but we did
it?
in 20 days. We did in 20 days because modernism was around the corner.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to miss modernism. So in 20 days, we did the bulk of it, which when I look at the photos now, I thought looked awesome. But when I looked at the photos, it was still truly a shell.
Yeah.
And now we just keep adding stuff, and Buzzy comes down, and he has concepts, and the outside looks...
No, I think it's incredible. So I want to talk about Circa.
Yeah.
Explain to the crowd what Circa is all about.
Most of you guys know for Tiki Caliente, it's been 10 years of Tiki events.
Yes.
And I love Tiki, but I have other interests. And with Tiki...
Yacht Rock.
Yacht Rock! Yeah! With Tiki, when I do Caliente, people are expecting something, so I have to kind of stick to the format.
Yeah.
And every October, I used to do a couple events. I did an event called Taboo.
Yeah.
I did an event called Going Primitive with art by David Wong.
Yeah.
Then I was working with Shag because we did a drink book together, the Compendium set, which was an art set. And we ended up doing Mod, which is very mid-century modern.
I've been Mod Tiki.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to Mod Tiki.
Yeah. When we were doing Mod, it just, if you live in Palm Springs, everyone thinks of Palm Springs as Frank Sinatra, the color orange. If you live in Palm Springs, it's kind of shoved down your throat. So I was kind of over Sinatra and I was kind of over the color orange. So at that point, I was like, you know what, let's incorporate the 70s and 80s and be Circa. And I could have a band up on the stage and it would be like Circa 1950s, Circa 1960s.
And you're right, because when it comes to Tiki, I mean, it's almost kind of tied to like the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Yeah, it is.
And, you know, then there's the Martin Denny's, there's the Les Baxter, you know, you got the surf music, but it's so tied to that. And let's be honest, as time is going on, that's going further and further and further away.
It is. It disappeared. And when you think of, like, when you hear the stories of, the death of Tiki was the Fern Bars, the Tiki was Jimmy Buffett, depending on what your belief is, everything has a cycle. It didn't die. It went dormant for a period of time.
I think people just moved on to other things.
And they needed to. I mean, when everything's black lacquer and glass and Nagel paintings, you don't think of having a Tiki next to a Nagel paintings. The styles were so starkly different. No. So I love that since we've done Circa, the people of... It's our generation. So the first room party was Magnum PI. I didn't do that. The people doing the room party.
There's people I've talked to.
Yeah.
Because I always like to ask the question, how did you get into Tiki?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are like Magnum PI.
Yeah. There's a tie there.
Yeah.
There truly is a tie. Like I said, there's a tie to me with Jimmy Buffett with Tiki. There's all these outlets. There's photos of Don. There's photos of Jimmy Buffett with Don Ho and Martin Denny. There was connective fiber.
I really honestly think it's like, it's not, Tiki in itself isn't like a pure thing. There's such a mixture.
It is, unless that's where the great argument gets started, because if you're going to go pure, it is. There's 7 different Tikis to choose from. Yeah. That is Tiki. If that's what your event is, have fun trying to build an event around 7 Tikis.
But there
was no rum.
But the reality is like, and I'm sure you probably agree with me, when it comes to the future of, say, Tiki, it comes down to the younger people.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm in my 40s. A lot of people I know in the Tiki scene, they're like 40s, 50s. It's all about getting the people in their 20s into it.
Yeah.
So imagine, say you're a kid, you're like 25 years old, and you're like, can you imagine how hard it would be to get this person into stuff that came from like the 50s?
Yeah.
But shit, the 70s and the 80s ain't that far away compared.
No, that's where the great debate, it seems, the past couple of years is the young people fuel the scene, which is a great thing. I would love to see some of the younger crowd become a little more educated on the subject versus just it's a great reason to party. Yeah. But when we're in our 20s, that's what you do in your 20s. Yeah. You might not get too deep into it. But then after a while, you make it into a bigger thing, so you feel good about drinking. It's not just drinking. I'm educating myself on this rum.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm educating myself.
So I think I love anybody in life, no matter if it's Tiki, Yacht Rock, whatever it is. If you're passionate about something, you could spark me. That's great. And there's a handful of people that are purist and they kind of stifle it, and then there's the people who kind of spark it. And I think we need more spark, because I'm excited to see the last couple of years somebody come out with a new angle and you go, that's pretty awesome.
I've always said this, Rory. I've always said this. It's like, when it comes to Tiki for me, it's all about the full environment. Yeah. I want a full environment. Like right now we're at the Alibi in Portland, Oregon. You walk in here, you are cut off from the outside world. And, there's the core, there's the music, there's the drinks and everything like that. I don't care how you do it, how someone's going to do it. I want to walk into a place and be like, I am now cut off.
Oh, yeah.
Music is important, but I mean, like a lot of like Yacht Rock is essentially music from the '70s, easy listening from the '70s. It creates the vibe. It creates the mood.
Yeah.
That you want. It ain't like, it's a lot different than, like, say if you were playing like Madonna or like the New Kids on the Block or whatever.
No, it was a period of time where what we consider tiki today did more kind of tone down, and then trop rock kind of took effect in different music, like jazz influenced music took effect. So all of a sudden, exotic was jumping on yachts and, you know, drinking spritzers.
Yeah.
And like I know not everyone in the tiki community will agree with me on this, but I've had this. I love tiki and I love Yacht Rock because they're both kind of self-defacing. They kind of mock themselves a little bit because here's an original tiki, which is beautiful. It's a piece of history. Then you watch somebody reinterpret it, and they're adding elements from Jetsons and other things where it's like you can't help but when somebody touches it with today's hands, you have a mindset of what you've learned, and it kind of morphs it into something. So it's all fun, man. And I love being able to get around a bunch of people that the great thing about, I would say, Yacht Rock even versus tiki, tiki to some people is defined. You can't flex. Here is your perimeter.
Yeah.
This is what you got. With Yacht Rock, if you listen to Pandora or Sirius, they have songs. I sit there like with Marty Lush, my buddy, and we're like, that's not Yacht Rock. But it's a good conversation. Because you'll have that conversation. It sounds stupid, but this is what we do.
No.
I mean, this is what else do you talk about when you're having drinks with friends if it's not a debate about something that's serious, but it's not serious.
No,
it's
not. This is a life-shattering thing. I mean, as I said before, I mean, like a lot of the tiki pop, the Polynesian pop, is definitely grounded into like the mid-century.
Yeah.
But we got to go to the future.
I agree.
We have to push things into the future one way or another, and people like you, Rory, are going to do that.
Like I said, I love the angles. I love your show. I love watching an actual conversation that doesn't seem like it's written down already and it's predetermined.
Well, hey, teleprompter's right over there.
And I love the show.
So thank you, Rory, for coming on the show.
You're very lucky to have me.
Mahalo and good night. Hey gang, this is Tiki with Ray, and I just want to say thank you very much for checking out my video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to see more episodes, click on the subscribe button. And if you liked the video, give it a like. That would mean a lot to me. And if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave a comment in the comment section below.